And we do have both Death Tacticus, Trat, PB Head, and Pavlos. The winner of this tournament, this match, will be the winner of the entire tournament. Let's see if we get Ceres or if it's going to be Mars again. Still 50% chance of Mars, 25% Isle, 25% Ceres. It is Mars for the finals. Is the most likely choice. We do have expansive robot scavengers and inventors on our Martian map. It is a glass colony, so robots might be something you're interested, except for that 200. See, all the water is good water is over on this side of the map. There's not too much water over here, otherwise this would be a pretty decent scavenger spot. So it looks like Steel Factions is going to be where it's at. Be interesting to see what factions get picked up. The Iron's not really in a really nice spot, so I'm thinking we're going to see a lot of expansives. The Tacticus taking expansive, going for water, going to make use of that really cheap steel and upgrade almost immediately just off of the strength of this water fountain. Now moving into some iron and going to purchase steel. The Tacticus really far ahead. Pavlos is going to go for the scavenger play, going for split carbon, which is an interesting choice, and going to rely on ice for the water. Not the nicest of founds. Tret going for expansive as well, down here on this side of the map. And then PB Head deciding to go give an inventor a shot in the finals. Crushed and mining from 2 water tiles right now, going for that 111 found. He'll be able to upgrade very soon. 9.5k for the upgrade, has 9. Pavlos moving into some water. I did not see that water. So okay, so that water is still a little bit better than I thought it was. But 2 lows, not going to be enough long term for the late game. So that's going to be a little bit of a struggle. PB Head HQ2, Pavlos HQ2, Trat lagging behind a little bit. Needing to buy up a bunch of steel from selling down water, metal, and carbon. And unfortunately, with everybody else already of upgrading, and Death Tacticus going for a steelless start himself, steel has gotten quite expensive quite rapidly. Let's see, PB Head is moving into steel. Yeah, Pavlos really needed to take this last instead of taking it third to get that extra claim, as Dubin points out. I 100% agree with that, because then he would have 1 extra claim to grab another water somewhere.
Expansive HQ has been upgraded.
Does have nice access to glass though, and it is a glass colony. That's always nice to have. Death Tacticus gets up to HQ3 first, moving into steel, picking up a geo as power is increasing in price. Trat did make it to HQ2, moving into some life support here, electrolysis reactors. And PB Head still has 1 claim to use. Hasn't decided what he's going to use it with just yet. Could potentially think about going into some silica steel mill retrofit just to get that extra oomph there from the steel mills, but doesn't quite have enough money to do that. Would cost 1.3. No one does have enough money. Why is it showing as oh, I'm sorry, already had retrofitted into the liquid cooling solar panels. Unfortunately, UE is not something you can mod easily, so we don't have a nice panel like this does for the retrofit menus. So is going into a liquid cooling solar panel, wants to make some money, but only has 1. Not sure that was worth it. Low silicon auction coming out. Right next to PB Head. PB Head does get it. That was a random auction, so That was quite the interesting random auction. Pavlos is HQ3, along with Death Tacticus, and Death Tacticus is going for a Patent Rush, hidden as a water pump. I wonder if anyone will have noticed that. Does Death Tacticus have anything queued up? Thinking machines. What are offloads like? Offloads are decent. 440, not that bad of a starting price for offloads. We head now into 2 liquid cooling solar panels. Those solar panels are making a decent amount of money each, $325, but has $26,000 worth of debt to pay through before it's going to make any money. Just waiting on this steel to come online, so it might make some money off of these liquid cooling solar panels next sol. Let's see, Trat over here moving into a bunch of wind turbines, wants to make power money. Trat also with 30k to pay through. Everybody with a decent amount of debt. So nobody might make any power money if everybody moves hard into it. We'll have to see, both Death Tacticus and Pavlos look to be in the best position right now at this point in time. Both with 30k cash on hand. Death Tacticus does have some of that money in this patent lab. Just Thinking Machines queued for now. Buying into that glass, 18k for the upgrade. Has the upgrade to HQ4 whenever he'd like to take it. PB Head does upgrade to HQ3 and gets the liquid cooling solar panels are power surged. Circuit overload, sorry. So that's gotta hurt. Now they're not making anything and have turned themselves off. But we'll have 1 panel up with the adjacency bonus, but that's not going to be enough to pay down this debt. Still 2 more claims to go into. Going to go into some water. Electrolysis reactors. Does have the ability to pick up another retrofit if PB Head would like to. Something that might be interesting going to electrolysis is going for this advanced electrolysis reactor, which adds iron consumption and increases the amount of fuel and oxygen that the electrolysis reactor produces.
Congratulations!
Pavlos HQ4 moving into some greenhouse farms. Water is very cheap, so Pavlos may not have to worry about that in the short term. Although Death Tacticus is going to freeze those out almost immediately, and then Death Tacticus farms are taken out as well. Trat over here is still kind of struggling, has paid through all his debt though. Now making power money, but it's not a lot of power money, and have turned everything else off. Just solely trying to make power money here. I'm not sure that's going to work. He doesn't have enough cash, though. Not enough income. Needs to start turning those steel mills back on to get the remaining 35 steel. This water could be making some decent money. The Tacticus picking up a superconductor and has the superconductor geothermal plant connected to his HQ with the hacker array, so that power price is going to die very, very quickly.
The hacker array is finished.
Tret does finally have the upgrade and gets the upgrade to HQ2. Needs to go into some life support markets here. Does have the water to support those life support markets. Also could use some silicon. Is there any silicon on this side of the map? Or does Pavlos have all the silicon? Pavlos and PB Head do have all the silicon. PB Head has retrofitted into a deep mine, which consumes a little bit of fuel to boost out the mine. You can see a medium now making 1.75. These liquid cooling solar panels are not really doing anything for PB Head anymore, so might want to retrofit out of them and open up that slot into something else, maybe going into these glass kilns here with a retrofit, or without would be a really good choice. The Tacticus up at HQ5. and Pavlos both at HQ5. So far, Pavlos not suffering anything from this water. Water's pretty low, life support's pretty high, glass is pretty good. As Pavlos has plenty of access to glass, the Tacticus still continuing to patent anything that he wants, now going for carbon scrubbing, moving into some glass kilns. Doesn't have any access to silicon, but did buy up to 120 silicon while it was cheap. Selling some resources, has one more claim to put down going into an optimization center. Those water tiles are frozen, but that Tacticus has a huge stockpile of water. Meanwhile, this optimization center, which is makes a decent off-road launch spot, going for 48,000 to Trat. Trat really wants it. Maybe this is how Trat can get back from being 2 HQs behind? I'm not sure. We'll have to see. PB-Head is retrofitting out of the solar panel, liquid cooling solar panels, and now is going to use another retrofit slot for something else. Needs to upgrade though, 19k into steel. Iron's just too expensive, and PB-Head with one medium iron mine doesn't quite have enough. Could move over into aluminum alloy steel mills, which replace aluminum, swap out some aluminum and iron. That composition, as you can see, they're only losing 3 instead of 15 per second, now 2. But we do have Death Tacticus with a rather large amount of money, $114,000. Trat over here, hard in life support, still has these wind turbines up, which aren't really doing anything. Pavlos a little bit behind, 50,000 over here. Death Tacticus is buying into himself and is going to go try and take out Pavlos here and now. He takes out Pavlos, this puts Death Tacticus right in the driver's seat for winning the tournament.
The HQ has been upgraded.
Has enough money to buy 2 more shares of Pavlos, but Pavlos has enough to defend. PB-Head making a very risky upgrade, but necessary risk, I think. Moving into some electronics factories. Question is, will PB-Head be able to defend himself?
The black market
has 3 claims out here, but just doesn't quite have a lot of income coming in. That Tacticus has enough to buy him. The thing is, the cooldowns, yeah, it looks like PB-Head is going to be majority bought and will be the first to be taken out in the tournament.
An expansive HQ has been upgraded.
PB-Head majority bought by Death Tacticus, and now Pavlos thinking about going to Trat, but not able to. I think both Pavlos and Trat will need to gang up on Death Tacticus if either of them is going to win. Trat is now HQ4. Death Tacticus continuing to purchase into PB-Head. Death Tacticus now going into a off-road market where that patent lab was. Off-road's making $47,000 per launch every 60 seconds. That off-road didn't cost Death Tacticus very much either. Somewhere in the range, a little bit less than $87,000. Extra claim auction coming out. Pavlos in 2 optimization centers. Second one along the way, optimizing water, optimizing chems, moving into chems. Chems making a decent amount of money. 41 per claim.
Congratulations.
So with that adjacency bonus, once it starts, it'll be somewhere what, in the 80 plus range.
Optimization center is ready. Time to start improving everything.
The only problem with that Tacticus is this C debt, but with a sub, which is HQ4 sub.
Advanced our production. The black market is online.
That sub is deciding to retrofit into improved glass kilns and then the aluminum alloy steel mills here. There is AI for both factions, which will work when you purchase them. No promises that the AI will be super smart, but it's there.
We're not surprised.
Yeah, my 80 wasn't even close. 192. Oh well, it's now up to 90. So.
Did you think we would
instead of 42, and then that gets power surged by the Tacticus. Trat has a decent stockpile of cash here, and I think he just does need to upgrade, and upgrade now. Needs the extra claims because there's so many prices above $100, above $200, or right around $200. Needs to figure out a way to get into like electronics or chemicals. There, Trat does take the upgrade. Going to move directly into electronics, buying up plenty of silicon and carbon, so all set there. 2 more claims, which Trat could use. We'll have to see what he decides to do there. Pablo's still optimizing. 51k launches though, and not enough claims to go toe-to-toe with the Tacticus. Now kind of seeing the problem with picking the 2 split highs is you don't get that adjacency bonus. What I think it would give you more to this would give you 3 here, and then that would give you 1.5, 50%. So yeah, you would get more for getting the high and the low, but then you spend more fuel.
Bid now before it's too late.
And shipping painful now would have been even more painful if they're shipping further, as Dubin points out in chat.
The black market is open for business. Our methods continue to improve.
Trat with a decent amount of money, $130,000. 2 more claims to put down, but just the only late game has got a patent for water engine, which uses 3/4 of the fuel as water, if water is cheaper than fuel. So right now, Trat using water for all the shipping.
Optimization routine successful.
Pavlos did purchase 2 more shares in the PB Head. PB Head has upgraded to HQ5. Has a couple of retrofits active over here. The Tacticus starting to purchase in the Trat. The Tacticus has 2 off-worlds up now. Had 2 off-worlds up for a while. 53k launches, give or take, depending on the exact price of food. Mutiny is going on to the Tacticus off-worlds. This one is defended. The Tacticus does own it. And gets the shipment. Trat's off-world coming up is hidden as a chemical refinery. A good spot if you actually... Well, no, that Tacticus saw it anyway. I was just going to say that if you put it out here, you might be able to hide that, but that Tacticus saw right through that and placed down a spy over there. Trat is the bigger threat, so that Tacticus is going to buy into Trat first. Right now, this is a situation where... Well, I guess it doesn't matter, because Trat will pay the same amount whether he buys shares. So Trat just wants to buy the Tacticus shares as fast as possible, just to increase his share price and maybe allow some hope of some chance of winning by taking out that Tacticus, but I just don't see it. That Tacticus already just about has the purchase. Amount of money to purchase out, 138, needs 194.
Such a wonderful plot of land.
And then that Tacticus will be pretty easy to take out Pavlos. In fact, that Tacticus could sell out Pavlos and get the buy-in Trat right now if he so wanted, but no need to do that. At this point, that Tacticus is just going to roll onto another buy. Then we'll have 2 subsidiaries, and one with 2 off-world markets that Trat is helpfully building for that Tacticus. And then it'll be pretty easy to take out Pavlos here. Pavlos just not sitting on a large enough stockpile of cash to be able to compete with that Tacticus in the late game. That Tacticus selling out of Trat, himself, to purchase Trat. Has that red buy button.
We caught a dirty rat trying to break our stuff.
Pavlos sees an opportunity to purchase cheaper stock and is purchasing that cheaper stock.
Prepare for pending market adjustments.
The offload gets mutinied and mutinied right back.
Offload shipment launched. Look at
That Tacticus with that red buy button. Should probably click it. Selling out of himself even more. Takes out Pavlos instead of Trat. I suppose it doesn't really matter because Trat needs 900,000 to take out that Tacticus. The Tacticus only needs half that amount to take out Trat. You can see that by the stock price right there. The Tacticus has 2 subs. One of his subsidiaries is moving into an off-world. And BB also making a decent amount of money with subs making a decent amount of money over here. Trat's not going to give up though. Going to try and fight it out along the way.
Off-world shipment launched.
But the Tacticus is very close to the buy. Has 300 of the $450,000 needed to purchase Trat. Trat did take one of the Tacticus offloads though.
Successful off-world shipment.
The one over by the colony. %95 of the way there. Once this launch goes off, we will see Death Tacticus take it. Maybe even a little bit before. Canceling out of the launch, selling all the resources as they come in. That red buy button will happen anytime now. And Death Tacticus does take first and does take the tournament in first place. Coming back from in Group 4 being down on Group B, winning that one, qualifying, getting enough points to qualify in the finals, and then taking it in the finals. So a last minute win by Death Tacticus. Let's take a look at the charts and graphs just here. That was a very excellent run by Death Tacticus. Death Tacticus first into the off-worlds, making $683,000. Taking a look at that balance sheet, entertainment revenue 326. I didn't even notice that that Pleasure Dome. Yeah, there it is, sitting here making 358 per second. That's pretty good, along with what virtual reality. The Tacticus did get his pick of patents in this game. Nobody really challenging the patents there. Back to the charts and graphs. Anything else that stands out? The Tacticus got a pretty decent spot for $22,000 in debt production and sales. Next closest probably would have been Trat. Anything that stands out here? Now Death Tacticus just making a bunch of money in a bunch of different markets. A decent amount of money in a bunch of different markets, then using that to go into those off-world markets, $200,000 more than Trat did. So a very well-earned victory to Death Tacticus. And then we'll have to look and see what the tiebreakers say for everybody else.